So in this video, I wanted to talk about the Eminence in the Shadow because I absolutely love the series, but one thing that I want to talk about is the web novel, the light novel, the anime, and the manga. I want to talk about all four of them because Eminence in the Shadow is a very different experience. And what I mean by that is that every form of media tries to give a very, very different experience. And I'm actually all on board with it. But at the same time, it's very different because a lot of series like Overlord, Damachi, Slime, Mushoku Tensei, fans kind of have a very set rule structure. So to give a bit of context to that, web novel is always seen as an outline. It's like the outline, it's the structure, it's the exoskeleton of the story. And then the light novel is seen as the more polished product, ironing out all the kinks, adding context where needed, taking certain things out. You use Mushoku Tensei as an example. The web novel takes Rudy in a very different direction as a mind, as a character. He does a lot of things that are much, much more extreme, and I mean way more extreme. But in the light novels, it's a lot more toned down. Now, of course, when you look at the light novel to the anime, it tries to stick to the core aspects of the story, but because of the fact that, again, anime isn't always going to follow things perfectly because of time constraints, budgeting, studio, all that kind of jazz, you're going to get a different experience. But with Eminence in the Shadow, that's done deliberately, while Eminence in the Shadow, you feel like it's not done deliberately, it's done because it had to, well, it's done deliberately because of those reasons, budgeting, time, and limited resources, but limited resources can be like manpower or just money, it kind of both go hand in hand. So you understand why there's a difference between the anime and the light novel. And the light novel into the web novel is different because it's seen as a rough draft. Eminence in the Shadow is completely different. It's web novel to light novel is different, not because it's an rough draft. It's because the author deliberately went, hey, I want to give you a different experience. I don't want the web novel and the light novel to be the same. I want you to read both and get a completely different experience. Now, of course, volumes 1 through 3 of the light novel are apparently very similar to the web novel. I haven't read the web novel, but I've been told a lot of stuff. And that's the thing. It's done deliberately to give a different experience. It's the same with the manga. The manga is apparently more focused on the comedy aspect. So I've only read the light novels and I've only watched the anime. I've not read the manga and I've not read the web novel, so just be very clear there and transparent. But that's the thing. You look at something like Damachi. Light novel to anime is always expected to kind of be as close as possible. But you fall back to also Overlord. Web novel is vastly different to the light novel. It's a complete exoskeleton. It's very different. Different story arcs, changed in major ways to kind of make it flow better, add certain characters that were missing. There's these little things in the story that have changed for the author's vision to kind of follow through better. When you look at Eminence in the Shadow, it's changed not because the author is unhappy with the web novel, but because they want to give you a different experience to the other source material. So that's the thing. Web novel, light novel, manga, anime, they're all different in their own unique ways. And that, I think, should be accepted for what it is. It's trying to give everyone a different experience. And I think it's a bit of a change in mindset because normally, as I mentioned, people see it as like a rough draft, and then light novel to anime are kind of seen as they're meant to be the same, again, saying the sort of same song and dance. But with Eminence in the Shadow, when I read the light novels, it's very different to the anime, and it's an entire different experience. And I love that because I'm more excited to watch the anime for Eminence in the Shadow than most other series out there. Probably the one series that I've enjoyed the most, looking forward to, because it's such a different experience. Yes, I've read the light novels, I know what's coming, I absolutely love the light novel story, but the anime is just an entire different spectacle that I absolutely just giddy over every single week because it is a different experience. And apparently the author has noted on that as well. And I understand some fans wanting certain things in the anime to be different just to kind of fit more in line with what the light novel is. But I think it's fine that it is different. I think this is a good thing because it gives you a different experience, whether the fights are a little bit longer or they change a little bit of a focus. Certain fan service is shown a little bit more. I think that's perfectly fine, because as a light novel reader and then going to the anime, there are little surprises that you get to enjoy, and especially some of those fight scenes, and instead of telling, they're showing. They're show instead of tell. And that is one thing that the anime has really, really accelerated at, and it's done an absolute marvelous job at. And I think it's why I've enjoyed the anime so much, because it is showing so much of the spectacle, so much of the craziness, the clown show, the fun, the charismatic chemistry between all the characters. It is just an absolute beautiful experience. And I've talked about these kind of things in similar matters in other videos, like Fill in the Hole, I used as a kind of a pun in one of my video titles, where I was talking about how like Overlord has kind of left a void in my heart now that it's coming to an end, and Eminence in the Shadow has filled that. And I think it's filled it perfectly, because the thing with Overlord is that light novel to anime, you kind of expect it to be identically the same, even though, yes, the anime does prune a lot of stuff out as far as context, character building, and all of that. But see, that's the difference between Eminence in the Shadow and the light novels, is Eminence in the Shadow gives you the context, it just sometimes changes it up a little bit, shows it in a different way. It doesn't remove the context so that flavor isn't there, it just gives you a different flavor. And I think that's why it works so well for the Eminence in the Shadows, because it's not taking things away, simply giving you a different flavor to what is there. So you're not missing anything in the sense of importance. Like, it's not like they're dumbing a character down, they're just changing the perspective, using more of the show instead of tell kind of mindset. And I think that is why what the anime has done is just absolute phenomenal, and why it's honestly just an absolute banger, 10 out of 10 in my opinion, because I look at it, and that's the thing that I always ask myself when I watch a series. Could I find something that needs to be done better? And in my view, when it comes to Eminence in the Shadow, I can't see anything that I would want to see changed. The fan service is absolutely hilarious, and you're meant to see it as comedic. I understand not everyone likes fan service, and that's fine, you just don't have to watch the anime. But I've seen some people say that Eminence in the Shadow is disgusting because it has fan service and it has harem building and all that, and it's like, okay, go watch something else, go watch Teletubbies or something. Like, just because you don't like something doesn't make it disgusting. That just seems to be kind of your insecurity shining through. And for those saying, oh, well, you just want to harem yourself. No, I don't want a harem in real life. That sounds like a headache. I just think it's funny to watch in an anime. And that's the thing as well. Fiction and reality. You need to understand that just because it's in a story doesn't mean we want that as well, just because we consume it. The same with the author. Just because the author writes that story doesn't mean that they want to live in that world either. And that is something I mentioned in a previous video when it came to other series like Mushoku Tensei and other particular series. It's this idea of just because you enjoy it doesn't mean you want to live in it. To me, Eminence in the Shadow is just absolute wonkos. It's just fun for the whole family. Not probably the whole family, but you get what I mean. It's what I love about it, and I really love the community as a whole and the enjoyment that we've all been having, because no one's taking it serious for the most part. There are a couple people out there, exceptions to the rule, where some are taking it way too serious. And to that, I just kind of point and laugh and go, haha, you need to chill out, go outside, touch some grass, and relax. Because there are some content creators out there, and even anime fans, that are just taking Eminence in the Shadow way too serious. And to that, I don't take them serious either, because it's clear they can't take a joke. So again, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.